there, Liberty fam, and welcome back to the channel. I've got some bittersweet news for you today, or I guess at least a based silver lining in a horrible storm cloud. As you've probably heard, the midterm election saw the people of Oregon pass new gun control in the form of Measure 114, though very narrowly. I'm talking a 50.7% yes to a 49.3% no. The difference was 25,590 votes to take away your Second Amendment rights. Democracy, yeah! Now, of course, we can expect lawsuits from various Second Amendment groups, but that doesn't help the folks of Oregon right now in the last couple of weeks before it goes into effect. Not to mention, the measure is similar to permit-to-purchase schemes in other states that have been ruled constitutional in the past. Regardless of whether or not you agree with that, that's what the courts have said. The measure requires a permit to purchase a gun, bans magazines over 10 rounds, and requires the police to publish public reports about the number of gun owners in each county. All things that we have unfortunately seen pass muster in other states, though Bruin has come a-knockin'. So, as per a big red banner on their website, Palmetto State is answering that call, which is pretty badass and makes me happy to be one of their affiliates. Their entire mission statement centers around trying to get freedom pews and their accessories into enough hands that they become common use. Because, as we know from Heller, if something is in common use, it's a lot harder to ban. And while there are a myriad of lawsuits around the country right now going after other mag bans and similar gun control measures, it'll be much easier to make the case down the line if the majority of gun owners in Oregon have these mags as part of their setup. And remember, just because a mag ban has been found unconstitutional in one state doesn't mean it automatically gets knocked out of another.
I know. Another stupid government rule.
Oddly enough, it says right in the bill being granted a permit does not actually give the permit holder the right to own a gun, which is puzzling. I mean, if the Second Amendment doesn't give you the right to own a gun, and the permit giving you state permission to own a gun doesn't give you the right to own that gun, what exactly does? That statement alone could put the measure in danger, or at least that provision of it, but on that point, we'll have to wait and see. The measure also requires a permit for private sales, gifts, loans, and leases. It requires anyone at a gun show to call the police to verify someone has a permit and, in some cases, even collect their social security number. The number of gun sales in the state has skyrocketed over the last 2 weeks, and the number of background checks going through the state police has doubled from 8,600 a week to 1,800 a week. This has created a backlog with the police department with a waiting list of about 20,000 people, according to state police and Oregon Live. And it's all people rushing to get their guns and magazines before the new permitting law and magazine ban go into effect. The state police don't have the rules in place, the people, or the funds to get through this before the deadline, or to enforce it after it goes live, which now is looking like December 8th. Originally, it was supposed to be December 15th, but according to the Oregonian, they've been given a new date by the Secretary of State. Presumably also to try and stop people from getting those magazines, hint, hint. So the police have approximately 3 weeks. 3 weeks! To come up with this permitting program. Previously, they only handled concealed carry permits, and it's estimated they'll need an additional 38 staff members just to process the applications, which I don't envision happening in the next month, especially considering that's just the new staffing for the state police. Petitioners in favor of the measure are saying they're hopeful the governor will extend the deadline, but then the governor came out and said she doesn't have the authority. So, in other words, expect even longer delays, a bigger backlog, and by default, a chokehold on the Second Amendment. The police can't issue permits if they haven't set up the offices and program to issue permits. As it is, some FFLs are saying the average wait time between requested background check and actual point of sale is about 2 weeks, and that wait time is going to get much, much worse. So again, if you live in Oregon, the clock is ticking. If you are looking for a magazine, PSA is doing its best to try and make sure that gets to you before the deadline. In the meantime, buckle up and hold on to your rifle butts. That's it for this video. Thank you as always for tuning in. Stay safe out there and happy shooting.